all the way down the road.
Oh, no.
So the holiday weekend. They're giving me, all right. That's what my. Nope. Do it. Oh, there you know, there's just this massive flow back here. So it said, we're not going to be able to walk the dogs, or they're going to be with the hose and be like, we just. And we were able to get a customer offended charge, so like we just submit for something.
Oh, okay.
We didn't put a bottle, maybe some owners did, so I'm like, this. Because I didn't go out and shop and things for it. They did it many.
Our house is like.
I'm sorry, I don't want to agree. No. I gotta find out what it is. Now, I have to keep it in the world, and I call people, yes, we go their own. Like, well, that's the thing. They put it back in there. You know, you guys do anything. Meanwhile, we have three kids. So, I don't know. No. Or is it? The mom is. And you know, so. They do, it's just. It's safe. I'm not gonna call for any. You know, I had to tell her like. They were over there. They were driving around. They're about the online. Let them. Gonna get the one just rips. When they leave, they tell her like, hey, you can handle the person, right? Getting more control. And I couldn't handle it.
Just, did you get my email? Right.
For dinner. Before she was up to doing.
Oh, yeah, right now. If anybody come over, we'll be able to. Oh, I should have together. Okay.
About what he needs.
They do that. Really? Oh. It's there. They couldn't kick it.
Don't give me crap.
All right, it's 7:00. I will go ahead and call our meeting to order. If we can start with a moment of silence, please. And for the pledge of allegiance. I pledge
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Councilmember Williams, Reed, Stewart, Frost, Davis, French,
Here.
and Mayor Snyder.
Here. These and support, all in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed. So this evening, we will start with the presentation, our dam removal. Can you hear me okay?
Yep.
Okay, Jill, you know if Mara might be able to join us?
She is.
Mars Hansel with Interfoods is part of our team that is working on the project. She had meant to be here in person and then got sick. So she's in Minnesota, but kindly has joined us virtually. So if there are any questions that she as well, we got her on that. So thank you, Mara. All right, so this is meant to be very informative. So please interrupt me if there are questions, and especially if I say something that sounds very ridiculous. All right, so we have done a lot of work, in the last 6 months especially, but right now we're completed with our 60% design set. And we're ready to, well, we've got a few other pieces that we're going to finish up and then submit to them. We also wanted to give you an update on where we are. So for the most part, what we've been able to do is narrow in on details. We're working on embankment treatments, really clean riprap. I'm not to talk about the M99 bridge and make sure that that one is okay with all the work we're doing. We're going to be able to discuss all of the different nuances of this project, but it's many. We just got to the point where we're ready to start talking to our neighbors and working on improvements. And that's mainly so that we can work on pretty much the water's edge in, but working on the properties. Getting those easements up front is going to be multi-fold. One is we're getting their buy-in. Two, we're getting their buy-in for the apportionment process, which is the redistributing of property lines after the water is received. A lot more land that's visible. How does that land go to each property? So with they're by signing that they would agree that that process was fair and would be to it. And then the last part of that would be that at the completion of this project, a boundary survey, the new property description would be written and recorded for more than one reason. One is to prevent headaches for the city in the future, but the second is that it also helps the owners and neighbors of the project feel much more confident about what they're doing. So that process is just about to begin. We had a lot of people get their phone numbers at the last public meeting, but Gail and Ben, who are two right-of-way agents, are going to be sending letters to everyone. So you may receive some comments following that letter being sent out, but the purpose of it is really to set up a meeting to talk about their specific property. Okay. In addition to that, really we're just continuing on working on the final plans for the South Branch. You do have a set of plans in front of you, so if you're seeing anything like, what is this that you're showing here? Feel free to raise your hands on that. And actually, I think I'm going to send it to one page just to help understand. I believe that's towards the back of the set of plans. That is sheet T2. Maybe third of the last sheet. It's cross section of the river.
Yeah.
Yes. Yes, it should show some cross section. Get it? Okay, pull that one up. So it looks like this. So at the top, there's a wall. So you can think. So on that sheet, this is one that I think maybe will help understand exactly what's going to look like. This is the cross section, but it's running through the river. On the left side of that detail is the western side of the bank, and on the other side is the eastern side of the bank. And what you see is a dashed line on the bottom, and it's representing the existing bottom land contour. And then if you look towards the, I'm sorry, I went too fast. Okay, perfect. And if you look towards the center, there's a couple of notes. That is the new proposed river channel. And you can see that it's much smaller, much narrower than the entire impoundment that you see with that dashed line. That's the new river profile.
68 feet wide.
At the bottom of it, yeah, and then at the top of it, which should be actually a little bit steep.
80. Oh, I got you.
Yep, 80 feet. And then the next, dimensional line above that is actually the floodplain line. And if you look at that floodplain line, it should say, thank you, 192 feet. That is 2.5 times wider than the channel itself. And the purpose for that is to provide a lot of floodplain bench. So we are lowering the waters as a part of the South Branch project. But what we don't want to do is increase, in fact, cannot, but we do not want to increase flooding anywhere. And so what that is doing is helping to provide a lot of floodway benches. So that lowland is intended to flood in storm events that it would need to flood. Does that make sense? Okay. That cross section is true for the majority of the project. There's a few places that are narrower, for instance, the as you come to the bridges. As we just have just not enough room to suddenly fit, the majority of the project has this additional flood storage. I know that's a big part of this project, is to make sure that they're increasing it, not decreasing. There was one other piece that I feel like if you go one or two further, the sheet. It was colored for more. Overall family color, right there, oh, it's not color for you, though. Sorry about that.
RBG.
Thank you, and that's actually, it's a restoration plan, but I like to include overall with a lot of colors, and unfortunately you don't have that. So when you look later at your link and open it up, you'll see that that's in color. And again, that just shows you the overall, you can see the large component and the river sinuously placed through the center of it for the most part. Oh, was Jan's?
Yeah,
She
past that.
right there, right where you are. Yeah, that sheet. Any questions about this? I know one of the things I would really like to do before our final plan set is done is sit down with Jason and other staff to talk about the specifics of utilities and other things that we're changing on extension of some of the stormwater. Sewer pipes, that outlet, just to make sure that he's on the same page as we are on all of our ideas on how we're managing all the assets that will be allowed to.
Sure, so I'm looking at that picture and I feel remember,
Yes,
and thinking over time that meanders tend to accentuate over time. And you've got some meanders that go right into people's property, and so 20 years, 30 years down the road.
correct.
So what sort of preventative action?
Yeah, absolutely. And Brian, if you do want to feel free to do so, but the most upstream section of the river does allow for meandering. As you start proceeding towards that 99th bridge in downstream, there are dock nipples that will, along with the big reinforcement that will help keep it in position.
I can jump in there too. Hi, everyone. I apologize. I can't be there in person and I'm having a little bit of trouble hearing everyone. So I think I heard the question. Oh, can you hear me?
I think you're only gonna be able to hear her and hear though.
Is somebody meeting? Okay. I'm gonna try. Is that working?
Hold on just a second.
Okay.
They're gonna try and get it so you can, so they can hear you.
Great. Thank you.
All right, here we go, Maren.
Perfect. I can hear you better too. Can you hear me now?
Let me hear it. No, hold on one second.
Okay.
Turn up the volume.
Oops, sorry, Joe.
Dance. All right, let's give that a whirl.
How's that working?
Any better?
Can you hear
It's
me now?
better. We're working.
Just tell us what she said.
Okay, well, we'll do that. All right, Maren, you go ahead and I will try to repeat your brilliant words.
Okay, so I was just going to say that, yeah, exactly right, Susanna, that upstream of M99, we have the floodplain boundary method, where we're basically putting a subsurface line of rocks that will define the edge of where the river's allowed to meander to. So yes, between those lines of rocks, the river will move back and forth, but we're putting a boundary on it. That's upstream of M99. I'll pause there if you want to transcribe that.
Yeah, absolutely. Did everybody hear that?
Yeah.
Yeah, so if you look at sheets P 2 and 3, I think those are the ones that should show that rock that Maren is speaking of. And then there'll be additional riprap that'll be added beneath both bridges, both riprap and riffle. Okay, I'm gonna let you keep going.
Okay, and then between M99 and the Haven Street Bridge, that's where we have a more locked in place. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay.
Apparently I didn't have it on.
Oh. Is it too loud?
Yeah, hold on one second, Maren. Okay, we're gonna try now.
Okay, how's that? Is that good?
Got a lot of feedback. Ah,
Turn them- speak.
we're almost there.
Sounds good.
You're missing out. Okay, go ahead.
Okay, how's that?
Much
Okay.
better.
Great. Thanks everyone. Sorry I couldn't be there in person. So then between the two bridges, there is a more designed channel bank where we're going to try to keep the channel to the extent to where it's constructed. That's, adjacent to the private properties and some public property. And then downstream within Victory Park, the banks will be completely locked in place with a immobile boundary is what we call it. So basically, as we go further from upstream to downstream, we're giving the river less and less space to move across its floodplain, which is, a natural river function that we want to allow it to do when there's space for it.
Okay. Did everyone hear that okay? No. Okay, so basically what I'm gonna do is try to reiterate that. Thank you so much, Maren. So between M99 Bridge and Haven Bridge, there will be more immobile protections that will start locking the river and things, and then further down from the road to the cross, that will all be locking. But immovable barriers or boundaries. Okay, thank you, Ben. Thank you, Maren. Okay, any other questions on that, on this South Branch?
How deep will it make the water?
So, not flooding events, 2.5 feet is the max that it would be before it starts filling the boundaries, and I believe that water elevations are around 2 feet.
I was just thinking about going out through the parking lot, you see, all their fish.
Yes.
And is there going to be enough water to have a supply of fish?
Absolutely. In fact, if you talk to DNR, they are very excited about this project because not only will there be plenty of opportunities, there'll be more opportunities upstream. So what we're doing with this project is strengthening and improving the impoundment into a natural river. And so now those fish will be able to migrate. I believe the two projects combined add 41 more miles of connected stream once both projects are done. We're not quite done with it with Hannah Street yet, but currently this will be less than that, but it's a little project will be 41 miles. And if you think of how deep it is to Victory Park, that's about how deep it will be during normal flows until you hit one of the pools. But most of the river will be 2 feet. Any other questions on South Branch?
Can I add something there too? Can you hear me?
Oh, Maren has something.
Yeah, it's on.
Maren, I'm coming.
Thank you.
Here we go.
Thanks. I was just going to add that the impoundment now is providing invasive habitat, habitat for invasive vegetation, invasive fish, invasive snails. And when we restore and reopen the system to a moving water system, that will allow for improved habitat for native species that can, then outcompete the natives. The natives thrive in the stagnant pool that's behind the dam. And, stagnant pools also provide water quality issues and a number of things. So from an ecological standpoint, this is going to be a huge, huge benefit.
Awesome, thank you. Did everybody get that? Yeah. Okay. So we have some South Branch, what is the update on the meeting that we had on July 24th? Thank you to those that were able to make it that night. It was another good attendance. We did not get blown away by the storm that came in, that was after it was over. But they were, I did not actually count, but more than 60 people in attendance that day, and several neighbors, which that was one of the goals that we had as a project team, is we really wanted to hear feedback from people that will be directly affected. I do think, for the next meeting, that we want to work on engaging with a larger body of people, make sure that we're communicating. So we're looking at some additional communication methods to make sure that we're getting a larger group of people. Neighbor-wise, though, I think we did pretty good. So we had two different areas of the meeting. One was about the South Branch and talked about the apportionment and improvements, and we had plans. The other half was talking about the North Branch and the two options that I'm going to discuss next. Really interesting feedback. I think conversations were really good. I think there was more understanding of why we're not removing meaningful things from City of Albion, restoring civic things from City of Albion, but we are trying to make strategic decisions that long term will help the city with everything else going. And as the dams are no longer functioning as they intended, and there's a significant amount of maintenance that also needs to be done with all those channels that are lined with stone walls, and the dams themselves. So I think when we started talking a little bit more about how do we maintain them, where's the money coming from, what is the purpose that they're serving, it was starting to make a little bit more sense. People didn't necessarily like it, but they understood, which is one of our goals. Yeah, overall, I thought it was a good meeting. Looking forward to the next one, and we should probably discuss at some point in time when that next one will be. If we wait until the permitting, public hearing, or if we schedule another one with everyone. Starting, snow's coming, so we should probably schedule it for that. All right. So any questions for the public meeting this week?
In terms of property, do you have specific areas that would be impacted more so than others? If
Yeah.
so, as council, sure, we can directly contact them and say,
Yes.
get the letter, it's a good time.
Yes,
Or at
absolutely.
least support what you're doing.
Yeah, absolutely. For the most part, everyone upstream of the Victory Park Dam are going to be affected very similarly, as we're going to be working in waters, making the town less during construction. But all of the waters will be receiving from other municipalities. Some will end up with a little bit more depth, and some will end up with just a little bit more depth. In all cases, everyone's property grows in some fashion. It's not a straight line, they're not rectangles, they're odd shapes, but everyone's property will eventually grow. So everyone upstream of the dam is going to be affected pretty much in the same ways. The ones that we're evaluating right now are actually the properties directly adjacent to the Mill Pond, Old Mill Race, and Victory Park Dam. Those properties, the descriptions when the Mill Pond was abandoned, Mill Race was abandoned, turned into Mill Pond, a lot of things were updated based on what we can find so far. So one of the things our regulations report with is talking to these folks, seeing if they have the information that we can use to help verify how those properties are going. So yeah, those couple of properties right there are probably the strangest on how we need to handle those. And then Victory Park is the one that's actually going to drastically change, pretty much from the driveway into the park, just off of Haven Road to the river's edge. As that river is, we're going to send it through what right now is an unknown wetland. I think that needs to be inspected. There's going to be a portion of the river that goes to that. So with that answer your question. So there actually will be more park on the west side of the river than there is now.
Thank you. When you send out the notes to the homeowners, it'd be possible for us Get those. Get a copy of it.
Yep.
Is that all? Said just us. Just. Just the two of us. We send it to all.
Yes, yes.
I assume we have a list of the preference.
We do.
That would be another thing that I'm not, she had.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm sure that he's doing. Then spreadsheet. So send them over.
What's that?
Really, it's. We talked to them earlier today and said, now seems like a good time after we've spoken with all of you tonight, that we could go ahead and let them know. Come with and a chance to review our agreement letter, that we put together and give it a thumbs up, so we can review it and make sure that letter is in really good condition to protect both the city and the neighbors as well, and, be very clear. And so that's what that is, and that is another copy that we can share with everyone as well. And then maybe some nuances, it's different properties. I think if you will have, stone retaining walls and New York, maybe I'll say that a few of them wanted to keep those stone walls. We're going to get those on a case by case basis and just try to figure out how that all fits with the rest of the project.
Any other questions? Yeah.
Let's say some, this is for, I think on our side, I just asked the council person. We usually don't do sidebars, but I was just wondering, how is this going to impact? Well, as it increase the property. Increase.
I'm not an assessor, but I would say if there is, it would be minimal. I would say much of the footprint of the floodplain is existing river. Doesn't floodplain as a native undeveloped. That's a decision we.
Right. Yes, I just made the flag.
I would be almost certain there would be the state procedure through the Department of Trade to address like waterfront properties or how they are.
We have met with the assessor as well, and he's at least aware of this project in its entirety, and I know we've been having discussions at him as well, and he's looking into it. Again, not because it's our decision, but more of, we see this as a future city issue. So
And I'm
making
sure
that
someone
someone
presidents may ask.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah, and in my law, those bottom ones are really, those are some properties. But it really went up.
Any other questions? Well, we appreciate the update.
Well, I got one more. I'm so sorry. Now we've got more grant. And I'm telling the media today is, right now we're at a crossroads where we have two options for the North Branch. And they are what we have previously recommended, which is keeping water in the mill base and the branch of the Tennessee River. And, just removing the dam, providing some upgrades to that location, street, taking out next 4 and 5 at the end of the mill base, and pretty much leaving that alone, allowing water to pass through. The November 2024 meeting brought up a lot of questions about Linton Avenue, and a huge part of your discussions tonight are about how are we going to plan all of our projects in the future. Well, there was a lot of Linton Avenue, what do we do about that? And we left that meeting saying, what we're proposing to do at this point in time is not make it easier for the city to then later improve Linden Avenue. So should we stop and reevaluate and make sure that this is the correct decision? So we have come back to you a couple of times. Part of the public meeting we just had in July was also exploring and explaining what this would look like for all those folks living on the mill race. So the option 2 is to remove the mill race, remove the north Hannah Street Bridge, the East Erie Street Bridge, widening Linden Avenue to be an actual real two-lane road that matches the rest of the city. Improving this pink storm has some issues in that road, probably some other utilities as well, but basically a full reconstruction of that road. And potentially also tying it into the Allen Place, so it's not that. So all of these things are on the table to give us some direction on which way we're going to go. I will help answer questions today. And then I'm going to come back on 18.
15.
Yes.
Suzanne, council's asked, should they see options
I mean, by drawing?
by drawing and by,
Yes.
so this way they can make an informed decision on how they want to treat Linden Avenue?
Yes, and I believe, and Joe, coming out, I sent you a link that had a bunch of documents that we presented at the, public meeting. Did everyone get a copy of those?
I did not send all of those out, but I can.
Between now and then, we'll make sure that those are in your hands. So it was some aerials that talked about all the changes that would be made between one option or the other. It was a picture of what the different roads and cross section of what those two roads would look like. It was. Yeah, it's definitely rerouting river. So I missed a few pieces. One of the things besides abandoning the middle race, the North Branch would also have to be widened in order to take off the flow. That would be widened to the south to not disturb all the properties to the north of it. It would change some things in Victory Park, especially the pavilion would have to be either relocated or taken down and something else put in its place in a different spot. And that's basically, we're going to do this for also not going to create homes by not improving the footprint. So currently there are 24 homes in that area that are eligible for flood insurance because of where they're located, so within the floodplain. Option 1 would bring that number down to 18. Option 2 would bring it down to 7. So that means that we would redraw the floodplain map based on the new location of the river, and it will no longer be associated with floodplain, be not pulled out physically, but pulled out by map of the floodplain. So they could potentially, yeah, absolutely say that. There are a handful of properties that pretty much no matter what we do, they're units, mainly because they're on both channels, they're in the race and the main stem. What we're doing is not increasing their flood potential, it is at least maintaining or reducing. There's one other, so the one other thing that I did want to go through, because I do think this is important, is we ran life cycle costs of option 1 versus option 2. So the maintenance of all of those things that we talked about, the bridges, the mill race, Linden Avenue reconstruction, all those things need to happen. And it's a 70-year time period. And all of the bridges are really fixed in that time period, just because it's long enough. So over that time, the option 1 would cost the city approximately $20.9 million. And option 2 would cost $9.5 million. That's the good news. The bad news is we would still need to spend a lot of money up front to do option 2, more money than option 1. The difference between the projects right away between option 1 is about $1.7 million and option 2 is $6.8 million. But over 70 years, option 2 drastically reduces the cost of your assets by removing assets. That's the way to do this. That is helpful. Okay. So this is all the information we presented to folks at public meetings. I'm more than happy to answer questions now. If you can give me before the 18th, more than happy to listen to those as well. Or send them to me, I'll have them ready for the 18th. Any questions now? Oh, very happy. Anything else, Commissioner Coyle? Brian, did you have any other words of wisdom?
No, I'm having a hard time hearing, but what I've heard, I think you nailed, Susanna.
All right, it's fine, thank you. All right, thank you.
I have a couple of things we'll need to get through, so I will go ahead and open up, public hearing for their 2025-2030 capital improvement plan. It is 7:32. So is there anybody in the gallery that would like to stand in their council? Name and address. And the decision.
Good evening, council. Here from 1016 South Pier Street. So, just looking over the resolution, it's unclear, we'll discuss this. Is it 5 units between both grant applications? Or is it 5 units?
So we're on the capital improvement
Oh.
plan.
Okay, you're going now, okay.
Anybody else that thinks?
That's the question.
Sit down.
Rick Lang, even
So this is on the capital improvement plan. Public hearing. Okay. I'd like to stand in this council request the capital improvement plan. Thanks, you know, movement, I will close our public hearing at 7:33 p.m. I have a motion to approve resolution 2510 for the adoption of the capital improvement plan. And
Madam Mayor, members of council, and our citizens. Tonight's agenda, we have the proposed capital improvement plan from 2025, 2030. The administration has taken steps to review it along with the planning commission. They are the legs for city council in reviewing the details of the capital. The capital improvement plan is how what we call capital expenditure for capital projects. The planning commission and the city council's legs in reviewing all of those items. And in this particular case, we are also required to have the capital improvement plan as part of our zoning and planning ordinance and also our master plan. In here, you'll see many projects, it's broken down by water, sewer, buildings, assets, and, police and fire. So we welcome any questions or comments if you believe that the planning commission did an excellent job reviewing what the administration had put forward. And, I welcome any questions that council might have for the administration.
any questions for city manager of the capital improvement plan? Councilman Lee.
Well, I'll just give you a brief. But I noticed that the college was participating in a few of the capital improvement projects. And looking at
Those are from the appropriation funds that the college applied for.
okay,
So those were earmarked for certain.
gotcha.
But they have done it pretty better.
No, I get that. But it said okay, it became clear these dollars are not supporting the program, must be spent for physical space as well. So was that just the change of usage for the fund? Okay, perfect, thank you.
Any other questions?
I don't have a question, but just make one small correction on page 36. The current A9 Ecobee South bin will have been in service for 10 years. Just a minor amount.
Have been, will have. On page 88, 36.
this was very informative, so.
Any other questions or comments? City Clerk, please.
Councilmember Williams,
Yes.
Reed, Stewart,
Yes.
Frost,
Yes.
Davis, French,
Yeah.
and Mayor Snyder.
Riverside Community Development Block Plan, 300 South Superior, 105 West Quarter, for rental rehab. And it is 7:57 p.m.
Here around 10,000 Year Street. So, the question I had, so when I was looking at the hearing notice and then the deletion, there are kind of number of addresses, there's two separate applications, $500,000. In the hearing, I think it's part of the way to qualify for this, 51% of the units have to be in excess of low and moderate income, PCs or renters. But in the notice, it said 1 unit. So that 50, I mean, I know you can't respond, but I'm just pointing it out. One is not half of, so I just want some clarification on that. And then the other question came up when these would come for council in the past. How long do those have to be offered to low and moderate income people? Is it, just for a year lease, they go back to market rate, but I think those are, especially in light of the prior conversation the council has had regarding the pilot of Washington Gardner. Those are questions that kind of to keep asking, that is the need, and if that's a requirement to get the money, especially in a state that has an issue. Curious of what we can do, what guarantees are made in terms of keeping a certain asset, a certain number of those units accessible to low and moderate income residents in the city. And but yeah, that's just, I just want to point out ask the question, how many units are actually falling in that category, or how long? And there was a grammatical error in both resolutions where it says like March instead of March. First year. Thank you.
Anybody else? Like, to address that? Close public hearing, 7:40 p.m. City Manager.
Madam Mayor, members of the council and public, these properties, which is a development, which is putting money into the community, specifically in our downtown on Superior, and of course on Porter, have made application, have been in contact with, Misha on these, give us the answer to, what Mr. Brown has suggested. I can't, because I'm not privy to the details of that development. So, or that program. So to give you a, length of time, but imagine, like, some of the state rules, and borrow money from grants, at minimum, 10 years. So, I know different programs require different lengths of time. I think that is measured by the number of dollars and also by the number of cities it serves. But city administration has not been part of that discussion with East and Sage.
Any questions for our city manager?
Cullen, as far as the CBDG, there's a threshold for price. Property tax.
Usually, but like the city manager, I don't have any of the details on this particular application. Is it provided? People can track the resolution. So, okay, you can certainly bring that, it's supposed to be a future meeting.
Now, yeah, and also, when it's limited, They've done this before, and I'm sure they met the threshold.
It's gonna be 51%, whatever 51% ends up being required.
Mayor Pro Tem French.
Well, I was just gonna, the piggyback, done this organization. I believe that we approved this before, I believe the timeframe for CDBG, what, 2 years? 12 or something.
Yeah, that was
And so, but again, it's, you know, the developer is not making rules as to condition, the state is making condition percentage, so. Small mistake.
Any other questions? Any questions, Mika?
Councilmember Reed, Stewart,
Yes.
Frost,
Yes.
Davis,
Yes.
French,
Yeah.
Williams, and Mayor Snyder.
For what? House. Project is 743. If you get like, French Council in regards to, grant proposal. Remove it, I will close our public hearing, 7:43 PM. Do I have a motion to approve resolution 2512?
So moved.
Support.
Yes, again, Madam Mayor, members of council, members of our public, this is a resolution that was initiated because of development, that is proposed by East Properties. As you know, they are doing quite a bit of rehabilitation work within Superior Street, within our downtown. The administration is not learned in the details of this project, however, would assume that they are going to do good with this and rehabbing buildings downtown. The administration would urge council to adopt and then mission conversation will be involved in chat in accordance with the rules that they.
Any questions for city manager in regards to this resolution? Yes, that's enough.
Councilmember Stewart,
Yes.
Frost,
Yes.
Davis,
Yes.
French,
Yeah.
Williams, Reed, and Mayor Snyder.
If there's any, yeah, regards to the agenda item. Have to do with the agenda. Do I have a motion to open for session? Any question to go?
Councilmember Stewart,
Yes.
Frost,
Yes.
Davis, French,
Yeah.
Williams, Reed, and Mayor Snyder.